Good evening and welcome to FTB Sports. This is the Tottenham Hotspur preview show with myself, Sam and Mike, and we're going to be looking at the game tomorrow versus Fulham at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, kickoff 8:15. Good evening, Mike. How are we doing?
Yeah, not bad. Half time in the Man United game.
0-0.
0-0. So they look rattled at the moment. So see how that plans out.
Yeah, I just saw both them challenges. I don't know how Luke Shaw's, you were saying how Luke Shaw's still on the pitch, but he is. But Man United look like it's a.
Yeah.
I was going to say, is the pressure getting into to get top, but they go top even if they get a draw. So, you know what I mean? Yeah. If they hold out, they'll be top of the league, and then that'll be the game on Sunday, I think, against Liverpool will be very interesting. Yeah. But let's not talk any more about other teams. Let's get onto our own team. And as you know, we're playing Fulham tomorrow, a rearranged game. Should have been playing Aston Villa away. Yeah. So we could have kind of looked at this. Is it a bit of a blessing that we've not got Villa, or should it have been that we played Villa and maybe they had to play some of their youngsters because of COVID and all the rest of it? That's all gone and by the by. But we are going to be playing Fulham. From the reports, Scott Parker's already stated he's not very happy about it, kicking off big time. I don't suppose Jose's very happy about it either, but he would rather play a game than have another one postponed and have a fixture pile up. Yeah. So, you know, given the late fixture change, does anything concern you about tomorrow's fixture?
Nah, not really. I think in the back of, especially probably I would have thought it'd been in the back of Scott Parker's mind as well, is the fact that if Villa had tested positive, like I think it was 14 players that tested positive midweek last week for coronavirus, then the chance of them playing Wednesday were always going to be very slim anyway. So I would have thought it'd been in the back of their mind that they may try to bring this Fulham game and have it in the Villa, like in Villa's place. So I don't get quite why sort of Scott Parker's kicking off. He should have known in the back of his mind that this could happen. And you'd have thought that he would have been planning for this eventuality in case it did. But I don't know. It could be all just mind games from Jose and whatnot. So I suppose you just have to take it with a bit of pinch of salt. So
yeah, Jose put the mind games on when he had that press interview saying, "Oh, it's not possible. It's impossible for Spurs to play another game if this one gets cancelled and not have another fixture." So I think he probably had in the back of his mind we weren't going to be playing Villa because, you know, the COVID situation, that's very strict at the moment. Teams are pulling out left, right and centre. Knowing that, Jose probably thought, you know what, it's likely that we are going to have this game pushed in because I've put that pressure on. So I think they're prepared. The other thing is we rested the majority of our players, I would say, that are likely to start tomorrow. So that being said, we can't complain about players being tired. It's going to be obviously a slight difference in how you set up, but we shouldn't be that concerned. Fulham, they had a tough game Friday, I believe it was, in the FA Cup. Played 120 minutes, blah, blah, blah. So, you know, both teams are in this position. We're at home. They haven't won in the last 5 games in the league. So I'm not overly concerned, mate. I think we can do this.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think Mourinho, regardless of whether it was Villa or Fulham, he would have rested the players that he did for the Marine game, regardless. He wouldn't have changed that. And he probably thought, well, if we don't play Villa, which is the strong possibility that game won't happen, then there is that distinct possibility of playing Fulham. So either way, it's probably worked in Jose's favour insofar as resting those players that we did to prepare them for whoever we were going to face tomorrow. So the players that he has rested, it's probably done them the world of good as well. Like Eric Dyer having a rest because he's played quite a lot of games. It's probably done him the world of good. Kane and Son. So with all those, I mean, the team probably almost picks itself. I think we've seen a fairly consistent first 11 for a lot of the season. And I think, I think team probably picks itself in. especially to the vast players that have sort of been rested and coming back in, etc.
Well, I was going to add to that. Obviously, after the Marine game, and we touched on it when we had our post-match of the Marine game. It was Marine tier 8. But was there any player from that particular game that maybe has a chance of, obviously apart from the obvious ones, was there anybody that shone through, possibly could start ahead of somebody else in terms of that starting lineup for Spurs tomorrow?
Do you know what? I would say Rodon and Ali. They did shine. I mean, it was a comfortable game for Rodon. If he's going to play in the FA Cup for Spurs and his first game for Spurs in the FA Cup, I mean, you couldn't ask for more of a comfortable afternoon or evening, should I say. But I thought he didn't do anything wrong. He looked very composed. He looked comfortable. He looked assured. Okay, you have to take the opposition into context there, but he may have a shout. I think Ali. He has been mentioned. Mourinho in his press conference after the game, in his interview, he was very complimentary of Ali, and he did say that the only reason he brought him off when he did was effectively the game was won, and he just wanted to protect him. He didn't want any injuries or any from either the pitch itself because it was softening up, or from an emotional tackle, he called it, from the opposition. So. Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if Ali might feature in Fulham. He certainly looked lively, he certainly looked fit, he looked sharp. So he might have it depends on the formation as well that Mourinho goes with. I mean, if he goes with that 4-2, I think it was 4-2-3-1 if I remember correctly, against Marine. If he goes in that formation, then Ali might stand a chance of starting. I don't think he did anything wrong to get a chance, but it depends on. Yeah,
who are you going to drop? For Ali? So the point, as you said, he did play well. Rodon did play well, but if we've got a centre back partnership of Dyer and Alderweireld, if both fit, they seem to be starting now. In the midfield, obviously Højbjerg didn't even travel. Sissoko did start the game, which was a surprise to me, but. He's still got the likes of Sissoko, possibly there as well.
I think Winks will probably. I think he'll come back in. Winks and
So that's the talk. Is Winks to come back in, possibly Gareth Bale to start. But is that something we should be looking to do against Fulham? I know it's Fulham, but
again, well, I wouldn't be surprised if either Bale or Ali do start. Although Gareth. I mean, if you're going to give Gareth Bale minutes and give him the opportunity to get sharper, get some match game under his belt, etc., then the Fulham game probably would be one of those games whereby you'd feel relatively comfortable playing at home to give him that start. The same with Ali, if you did start Ali and we're chasing. You have always got that opportunity whereby you could bring on Ndombele and sort of go for the jugular, but I don't know. It's a difficult one.
I think knowing Jones, I don't know him personally, but what I would say is the fact that our next game's on Sunday, the fact that he rested that many players, I can see Ndombele coming back into the starting lineup. Which means if you play Højbjerg, you're going to play one other. It's going to be Sissoko or Winks, possibly, unless he makes a complete left field. Because I think Ndombele starts ahead of, in terms of just in front of those two, which would be the position which Dele Alli would potentially play. Does Jose think that Dele Alli is going to do more than Ndombele?
Who have we got Sunday?
Sheffield United.
Oh, is that home or away? Is that away, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, see...
It is a toss-up. I understand. I understand what you're saying. And you're right in what you're saying. If we are going to start any of them fringe-type players, Fulham is going to be the game. But then again, you could say that about Sheffield United as well. They're bottom of the league with 2 points.
Yeah, it's Sheffield United, though, isn't it? I think Sheffield United, the thing is, I don't want to jinx us, but Sheffield United, at some point, will get a shock win. And I'd
Let's not hope
rather
it's not against us.
Exactly that. And I'd rather us go out in a full strength team against Sheffield United to make sure that doesn't happen. I know you could argue that with against Fulham, but I think Fulham will play. I think they'll play a little bit more open than Sheffield United will. I think Sheffield United will just sit there and camp out, but Fulham, I think, will have a go at us, and it'll be a bit more of an open game. Which is where, as I say, I don't think Sissoko will start. I think Winks will start in front of Sissoko. I think Højbjerg will come back in. Whether he'll get a full 90, I'm not sure he'll get a full 90. It depends on that injury he got. Well, I say injury. It depends if he's... I don't know if he had to have stitches or not in that leg. So that might be...
He's a Viking. He's playing. He wanted to play on in the day. He weren't prepared to even come off. He was gutted when he had to come off. He looked like he wanted to smack someone. So I don't see Højbjerg having any problems in coming and start. Yeah. You're right. I think you're right, though. I think it might be a case where Winks comes in alongside him. I still think Dembele will start ahead of Dele Alli. But if there is any chance of Dele Alli getting in first team action, then it potentially could be against, Fulham. Comment here from Adam Morris. I think Mourinho can throw in some fringe players in this game with Fulham's lack of match time. It's almost a free hit. Well, yeah, it's a free hit for them as well. It's a free hit for them. They could just come out and just think, we've got nothing to lose.
And Mourinho won't take risks. Not like that.
Nah.
I mean, you saw that in the FA Cup game. He didn't. He gave respect to the opposition, and I think that's obvious to see in every game he plays, is that he will go with the strongest lineup that's available to him. And he does take into context the sort of games that are sort of coming up, etc.
Yeah.
But I think his management of the team up until now, I think, has been pretty good. I think he has managed the team quite well in keeping players fresh, giving players minutes where they need it, avoiding injuries, etc. I've been quite impressed with that aspect from Jose. And again, from the game at Marine, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Vinicius gets some minutes against Fulham. Again, it's the ideal game to. If we're comfortable, then I don't want to see Kane getting 90 minutes if we've got a comfortable lead. I'd like to see what Vinicius can do, and against the Premiership opposition, give him a chance, give him the minutes that he needs, that he's craving for. I mean, he banged in a hat-trick, against an 8th tier, but he still had to put the ball in the back of the net, and he took that second goal. I thought he took that second goal lovely. So give the lad a chance, see what he's about. Do you know what I mean? So,
and so therefore, because of that, let's get into the score predictions and talk a little bit more about how we see this game going. I said in a preview show yesterday with Solo and Ian, I said this should be a comfortable game for Spurs, and I called it as being 3-1. I stick by that. Stick by that, even though Scott Parker's mouthing off and whatever it is. I think that's even better for us. I think we've got the quality players there. We've got a bit of momentum going in terms of results recently. I know we had a bit of a dip, but we sort of like come through that, and it's the opportunity now. We could go 1 point behind Liverpool and be on the same games as them. I know we've got a game less at the moment, but we could go 1 point behind them. Obviously, depending on what the result is for Man U tonight, they're then playing Liverpool at the weekend. So there's a massive opportunity, which is why I'm not quite sure Jose will take too many risks, because it's each game as it comes, and each game is the most important game. And that's the right mentality to have. So even if you look at it and thinking, it's Fulham and we should be doing this, the same thing could be said to Sheffield United. But the moment we start looking at games and thinking, that's a definite one, is potential. And I mean that by selecting a team that might not be what you would consider to be the strongest 11. And I just think that given the fact that we are approaching that halfway point of the season, we want to be there or thereabouts in that top 2 or 3 if we are going to call ourselves title contenders. So what's your thoughts in terms of your score prediction?
I'm going 3-0. I don't even see Fulham's. I think I just don't see Fulham scoring. I think we'll be. the mentality in Spurs, if you look from the beginning of the season where we were conceding the odd goal here and there, and we were a little bit like, silly mistakes.
Yeah,
they have been cut out dramatically. I know Liverpool knocked in 2 against us, but I think that game aside, a Leicester game aside, where we've just had, you're going to have the one-off games where we're going to concede a couple of goals and we may lose. But on the whole, we're very hard to break down, and you could argue that it's only the teams in the top 6 that have got lucky with the odd goal here or there. But these teams below us, I just don't see Fulham. I just don't see their attacking threat as being anything really to worry about. As long as we concentrate, play our game, and just as we can be, and we have proved, as long as we're clinical, we should put these lot to bed, especially at home.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think we will win the game. I always get this, like, this feeling this is a game where if we win it, it puts us right back in the picture. It really does. It's the game in hand as such. It then puts us as close to Liverpool as we're ever going to get in recent time. Obviously, we was top of the league, but obviously through our little bit of a downfall, we went and dropped off. So it's a bit of a marker. And then once you get into like 18, 19, 20 games in, you kind of, I know the season's very funny in terms of the points difference between, say, 1st and 10th and that, but there's so many teams between us and then 10th, it's going to be a little bit of a concertina. But if you're up in there in the top half and you maintain some results, it will keep you there. And that's the thing. You've got to try and stay there.
With that. Yeah, I agree with that.
So you're saying 3-0, I'm saying 3-1. Both obviously going for that victory. We will do obviously our post-match tomorrow, and then we'll both be hopefully, drinking a beer, thinking, we're almost top of the league again, sort of thing, going into the weekend's game, because it's exciting times. We got into the next round, as you know, obviously the FA Cup. We've got a cup final to look forward to. It's now just this momentum. We need to continue this momentum, and then
I like the fact that if we keep under the radar and everyone just writes us off, I'm happy with that. Because I like the fact when we come up and sneak up on teams, Tottenham are back, they've crept up, or they're doing this and that, and it takes the pressure off us a little bit. The spotlight is off us as a team, which favours us, I think. And Mourinho is very good at sort of, if he feels the team is getting any sort of pressure, he's quite good at deflecting it and making it about him. And so,
he likes to be the underdog. He likes to be the one that's everybody's against us. The world's against us. We need to show this. We need to come together. Like I said, siege mentality and all the rest of that stuff. So again, it probably suits us to be just in and behind. Everybody talking about the Liverpool Man United game at the weekend, talking about City more so than us, and we're kind of like just slowly but surely getting back up to where we were before.
And the thing is, a lot of these teams have still got to play each other. I mean. And we've already played most of these teams already once, etc.
We've got Liverpool coming up soon, though.
So then we can look at end of January, and we've got Liverpool out of the way for the rest of the season, unless we meet them in the FA Cup or whatever. But these other teams, they've all got to play each other still. So points will get knocked off, and as long as we keep on picking up points, I think we'll be all right. Be all right.
Well, games are coming thick and fast. There'll be midweek games the Fulham week as well, and then I think there's a break next weekend. I don't know if that's potentially getting into the FA Cup again. I'm not sure, but I need to check that. But I know there's definitely a few league games coming up. So we might see in 2 or 3 games. Let's see where we are after that. So I think we'll wrap it up there. Let's go and see how Man United are doing. Like, subscribe, share, comment, please, if you can, for FTB Sports. This is the Tottenham Hotspur preview show with myself, Mike. That is a really ridiculous thing. Myself, Sam, and Mike. We both looking at a Spurs win. I'm looking at 3-1. Mike's looking at 3-0. Either way, we expect tomorrow's show to be a real one where we go and say, come on, you Spurs. Thank you very much, Mike. I will catch you again tomorrow. Come on, you Spurs, as we say.
Come on, you Spurs.